We have built a robust, well-structured application with professional error handling. Now we are ready to tackle one of the most critical features of any real-world web application: user authentication. How do we let users create accounts, log in securely, and perform actions that are unique to them? So this lesson is a big one, but is the key to unlocking personalized and secure web experience. So before we write a single line of code, we must learn the most important rules of web security. You must never ever store a user's password as a plain text in your database. So if your database is compromised, an attacker would just have the passwords for all of your users, which they could then use on other websites. So it's a massive security breach. So how do we verify users' passwords without storing it? We use hashing. So hashing is a function. It's actually one-way street. Okay, you can put your password in and get a long scrambled string out, but there is no way to turn that hash back into the original password. So when the user registers, we take their passwords, hash them, or hash it, and store the hash in the database. When the user logs in, we take their login password, hash it again, and compare that new hash to the hash that we stored in the database. If they match, then the password is correct. We will use a library called bcrypt to do this securely. So once a user logs in, how does the server remember them as they navigate from the page to page? So we use sessions. So when the user successfully logs in, the server creates a session for them and sends a unique session ID back to the browser in a cookie. Now for every subsequent request, the browser sends the cookie back, and then the server uses it to actually look up the user's session data, like their username and ID. So we'll use a package called express session to manage this for us. Now let's modify our application so that only logged in users can create and edit or delete entries. So first we're gonna install new dependencies, which is so that's npm install bcrypt.js and then express session. Now bcrypt.js is a pure JavaScript version of bcrypt that works everywhere without extra setup. Now we need new pages for users to register and log in. So we're going to create new files slash the first one is register.ejs, and then sorry, I just got my wrong spelling there, so I'm just gonna recreate it, register.ejs, and then the next one will be login.egs. Alright, so on views, I just want to go and delete this one with the wrong spelling. Alright, so let's go to register and then create a file, edit it out, register.egs, and then we will just do our HTML. JS. Alright, so I might have to do it couple of times. So the style I'm just going to copy. Actually we were supposed to have a shed style, but that's okay. We can just copy the style. So okay, let's just build the file first and then we'll come back. So we can just go to guestbook and then copy the style. I think import button. So those are the only things that we actually need. Copy that. Right, but the best way is to create a shared style. Register.egs, and we're just gonna put our style there. So I think the only thing that we're gonna need probably is a footer text. Alright, so I'm gonna remove a text area here because we don't have a text area, so we only have an input. And then we will need maybe footer text. Center, and then margin top, let's make it 15 pixels. Alright, so in the body we'll have a container, then in the container we have h1, which is create an account, and then we have form, so this will go to register with the ID of username. And then the name is username as well. Required, I think it should be required. Alright, and then we also need another form group. Alright, now for login, we're just gonna copy everything. And then we go to login.bgs, we just paste everything. Okay, I didn't copy, and then we just go there and paste. What did I copy now? Register, select, copy, login, select, paste. There we go. So we just need to change basically the form action. It must go to login, and then the method is still post is fine, username is still fine, password is still fine, and then the button login, and then here don't have an account. Instead of already, we just say don't. Don't have an account, and then register here. So now we need a new model to handle our users collection in the database. So we'll just create so we'll just create a new items. So in models, and then slash, we're just going to call it user model .js. All right. Now on a user model, I think we might need the entries collection. Maybe we might need it later on. So let's somewhere do it. Import entries collection from entry model.js. We might need it later on. So what we're going to do, we will expand this model as we end the user logic, but for now it's just a placeholder. The actual user collection will be created by the controller. All right. So now for this lesson, we'll just put the user collection logic directly into our new controller or auth controller. Now what we need to do is to create the controller, the authentication controller. So this is just going to be the brain of our login system. In controllers, will just create a new auth controller .js. Alright, so we need to import bcrypt, and then we need to import the entry. So remember, the entry model, we need the DB client. So we actually need to import and then entry model .js, and then we need to import the async handler for the error handling. Import async. Okay, so and then we need to get our get a handle on users collection. And then we need for registration, let me just make a comment. So this is for registration. Registration, a method to register the user. And then we check if the user already exists. So we check if the user already exists. So user collection dot find one, find one username. Then we say if user exists, then we will return dot status 400 dot send. Then we can just say user already exists. And then we need to hash the password. So we will hash the password. Then finally we create the new user. Come on, the new user. Dot insert one username, and then the password. But the password, we actually want to insert the hashed password, and then we can just redirect to login. All right, now we're gonna do the login. We need to do the login. On the login, okay, and we will create a method of login the user, right? And then we need to find the user, and then we need to check the password. So now if user and we're just comparing the password that he's providing to the password that is actually stored. So if they match, then we create a session. So if the password match, then we create a session. Alright, so now we need to do the logout, and then we are done on this auth controller. Then we need to do the auth routes. Alright, so so this one is logout. Alright, now we need to create an authentication or auth routes to link our URLs to the controller functions. So we'll make a new file. So that's gonna be in routes, and we call this one auth routes. .js. And we can go to that file, and first we need to import express from express, and then we need to import all the methods from the controller. Express dot router, and we need the get. Alright, so now we need to tie it all together in the app.js. So we just need to add a session middleware and our new routes. So we'll open the app.js, and then on the imports we'll need first I'm gonna import the session. Import session from express session, and then here we will import the auth routes. So we're going to import auth routes, and then from routes, and then slash auth routes. Alright, yeah, I think those are the two things that we must do. And so after we've saved, I think after we have saved the pages, then we need to set up the session middleware. So somewhere here we'll just app.use session so basically this can be it can be a very secret key that should be in an .env file. So it's a very secret, so you can always change this and then resave. Which is false, and then save unutilized or uninitialized, which is false, and then we need to make the session middleware available in all the views. So somewhere here, so this is just to make the user info available in all views. And so we can just say app.use and then we need to use the routes. So somewhere here we'll just say app.use the auth routes. Right, so I think that's all that we need to do on this file, is to prevent non-logged in users from creating or editing or deleting. So we do this with a simple middleware. So now we're going to create a directory called middleware. Right, and then inside the middleware we're gonna just make a file called auth middleware. .js. And then in this file so this if the user is logged in, or else if they are not logged in, then we just need to redirect them to the login page. On entry routes, where's routes entry? On entry routes, so what we need to do is to import protect and then we just need to pass it here. So I'm just gonna copy on submit. Under views and then the guest book EGS, so we just need to add so let me just do this. We must just add maybe somewhere here, we'll just add a block. Let's just say maybe the class is user actions. Let's say welcome. All right, and then we'll have a form. So the action will be logout. And then in this form, we just need a button. It is the type of submit. And we'll have just text like logout. All right. So after the form, we could say okay, else. Then we have the anchor with the href of login. I think this one is out of place, so we can remove this one. Alright, so this is good. We can just do maybe the style sheet and whatnot. Alright, so now it's time to test. It's actually time to test. So I'm gonna run Node.js. Okay, so here's I think the problem. So here we must just add the current IP. I think that's probably why it's refusing. So that's because maybe our IP. So let me try again. Yeah, there we go. You see now. So the problem was the IP. So we can visit this, and then we have this login. I mean, we can style this login and register. So let's just say register. Username, I'm just gonna put my name, and password, let's just do it, and then we can just register there, and then now it takes me to login, so I can, it was my name, and then the password was this one, and then login. Alright. And then so it's actually working fine. You can see the welcoming. Now if we go to the actual database on cluster 0, browse collections, we should see a new table called, or rather not a table, but a new collection called users. There we go. In other users there is me, and then the password, you can see that it's hashed, and the hash password. So there you have it. So we've learned a cardinal rule that never store plain text password. So we've used bcrypt.js to hash our password to just to secure storage and comparison. So we also use express session to create a persistence login sessions for the user. So we created a full registration and a login flow with the separate models, views, controllers, and routes. And then we also created a middleware function to protect certain routes, ensuring that only authenticated users can access them. We have now implemented the most critical security feature of modern web application. So this is complex, but I mean, it's incredibly rewarding skill that is essential for any back-end developer.